Welcome to Restorative. Tonight, we're gonna get started in supported fish. So if you're not familiar with that pose, I will walk you through it. You'll wanna grab either, got like 2 throw pillows or a longer bed pillow, or if you have 2 yoga blocks, you can grab onto those. Essentially what you're gonna wanna do is take whatever prop you have accessible to you and put it one prop behind your low back, or your upper back, I should say, and then the other prop's gonna go on your head. So if you do have blocks, you'll make a T shape, and it might take you a few moments to get cozy in whatever shape you decide on. But if you're using pillows, I'll demo that for you here. So you'll just want one underneath your upper back, and then the other just to rest your head on. And then you can decide what you want to do for your legs and your upper body. So legs, you can either extend out long, or you can come into more of a Supta Baddha Konasana or butterfly shape with your legs, soles of your feet to touch, knees out wide. Your arms, you can either place down by your sides on your belly to just start to tune into your breath. Or if you really need some opening, if you're stuck on a computer all day or just are really hunched over a lot, you can start to goal post your arms out to try to get the backs of your hands down towards the ground. And right now, mine's nowhere near the ground, but as we lay here in this pose, you'll start to open up and you can get more into it. So just find a shape that's comfortable for you, that you want to open up in. And I will mind the time and let you know when we're about halfway through each posture so that you can focus on staying still as possible. When we're about halfway through, if you need to make any adjustments, please do so. But the goal of our restorative practice is that we stay still as possible so that you can get the maximum benefits out of each posture. So in your restorative reclined fish pose, your eyes aren't already closed. Start to close them now. And just really tune into how you're feeling this evening, how you felt when you started to log in. Maybe you had a stressful day, or maybe it was a really great day for you. So just tune into what kind of experience you had earlier today and how you're kind of feeling laying down here on your mat right now. And just start to bring your awareness to your breath. See if you are breathing and expanding your belly every time you breathe in. And then are you releasing all of your air as you're exhaling out to just allow for some fresh air to enter into your body. And typically throughout the day, we aren't paying attention to our breath. We don't have to, our body does that for us. But tuning into that really does help ground you, especially if you're anxious, stressed out, have a lot going on. Just pausing for even a few seconds in your day to tune in to A, are you even breathing at all? B, are you breathing just in your chest, or can you bring your breath to your belly? So as you move throughout your day and through your practice tonight, just see if you can just ever so slightly tune your awareness back to your breath. And as we're holding postures this evening, your mind might start to wander to other things, but see if you can really be present and focus on what's happening in your body, how you're feeling, the different sensations, the music, the sound of my voice. This will really help ground and center you and also keep you here, present on your mat for these next 60 minutes. Just start to feel the opening already happening in the front side of your body. Seeing if you can expand in your chest. We're halfway through this posture, so if you do need to make any adjustments, you can do that. But again, the intention of restorative is to restore. So just bringing you back to that neutral state. And the more that you can just relax into these postures that we're going to be holding for anywhere from 3 to 6 minutes, the more that you'll be able to get the benefits of the deep opening in your connective tissue and just restoring your body back to where it needs to be. If you haven't set an intention for your practice tonight and you'd like to do so, and take some time right now to either think of something that you want to focus on, perhaps it's letting something go, being present on your mat, or if there's another word or intention that comes up for you, just think of something that you need to carry you through in your practice tonight. And we'll set that intention taking a deep breath in and a full breath out. So inhale, and a big deep breath, open mouth, sigh out, let something go. Taking a few more moments here just to collect yourself before we move on to our next posture. Tuning into what you need tonight. And all of these postures that I'm going to be calling out are merely just a suggestion for your practice. So if there's something else that you'd rather do or any modification that you need to make, you know your body best. So don't feel any pressure to do what I'm calling out if something else feels right for you. If you're ready to move to our next posture, just start to bring some movement to your body. If you came to Supta Baddha Konasana legs, just close them back up like a book. Perhaps you want to sway from side to side just to loosen up your low back. No matter what posture you took, just roll off of your props and just come to a seated position on your mat. And you're gonna face one side of your mat, the long width of your mat. We're gonna come into deer pose. So if you had props or pillows set up in supported fish, they might be exactly where you need them to be. Your left shin is gonna become parallel with the long side of your mat. You'll bring your right knee bent and your right heel in towards your right glute. So if you're familiar with a cheerleader sit, it's that shape with your legs. And then you'll just take your props. So I have 2 throw pillows. If you've got a big bed pillow or some blocks, you can always wrap a blanket around it. You'll bring that to your left thigh and just kind of create a little bolster. And on your next exhale, start to slowly twist towards your props, towards your left-hand side. And this might be enough for you. You might feel big, deep twist in your low back, in your stomach area as well, and this might be good. Some of you might want to take this a step further, and you'll just start to crawl yourself down until your chest and your forehead can rest on your props that you have here. So you might want to bring your forearms down to the mat and then just really try to relax your head on your prop and your chest as well, just to really get into that deep shape. And if that just seems like too much right now, you might just want to twist towards that side, and then when we're about halfway through, you might be open enough to go the full length of all the way down. So again, your body, listen to what it's telling you. Each side is going to be different. So when we take this on the other side, you might need some modifications that you didn't need on this side. So just tune into that. But once you've found a good shape for your deer, just really try to relax into it. The really big twist, which is really great for detoxifying our body, for bringing stuff out, for letting things go. So just tune in, allow yourself to sink into the mat, and on every exhale, just pretend like you're just going deeper and deeper into your props or into this twist. So can you just relax enough? Maybe you release any tension that you have in your face. If you're holding on to any tension in your jaw, can you just slightly release that? And perhaps if you are holding on to tension in your upper body, if you're laying down on your props, just rolling your shoulders on your back just to release some of that tension. Come back to your breath. Start to pay attention to that. If you've already lost thinking about that or thinking about other things, just bring your focus back to that. We're halfway through this side. So if you just twist it over, you can try to come down on your forearms. And perhaps if you have your head facing one direction, you want to switch it to the other side just to get a full spinal twist. That's totally up to you. If you're cozy where you're at, stay there. Again, this is your practice. So you find a comfortable shape for you and take it to where you need tonight. Having a hard time staying still and find yourself fidgeting, just see if you can start to, again, tune into your body, into what's going on around you, just to help bring you back here, bring your mind back here. Where can you continue to release and let go? Very slowly, on your next inhale, start to make your way out. So if you come all the way down onto your prop, just really slowly just bring your self back up to a seated position. And then when you're there, just start to crawl your torso over towards the right-hand side just for a counter twist. So just take your gaze over your right shoulder just to help undo that side. And then come back to center. And we are just going to swap that out. So if it's easiest for you to keep your props where they're at and you just want to face the other side, you can certainly do that. I'm going to move mine just so that I can still face you guys. You get set up. Your right shin will come parallel with that side of the mat. And then your props will come in towards your right thigh. And you'll tuck your left heel in towards your glute. And once you've found that shape with your low body, you'll just start to gently twist over towards the right. And then you decide where you want to go. So if this is good for right now for you, stay here. If you want to start crawling yourself back down to your props on this side, please do that. And then just try to find the pillow or block or whatever prop you have to land on. And once you're there, just close your eyes, start to get into this twist. And as I mentioned, each side is different. We hold on to tension differently in our bodies. So this side might be a little bit tighter for you. You might need more props or just more patience with yourself as you get into this, but just try to find a cozy shape. And then once you're there, try to stay still, just to allow all of your connective tissue to start to open in your low back. And also giving your internal organs just a gentle massage in this twist. So twisting is just such a great opportunity. We don't typically hold twists for super long throughout our days. So just take this time to really get into that. Every exhale, just try to twist a little deeper or melt more into your props. See if you can just slow down your breathing to start to relax into this a little bit more. And we're halfway through on this side, so if you want to change the position of your head or get down deeper or make any slight adjustments, you can do that. And if you're cozy where you're at, just stay there. You try to lengthen your inhales and your exhales while you're relaxing here. And if you've got a lot of tension in your low back, you can send breath to that area just to help loosen that up, focusing your attention there. Couple more rounds of breath here, just taking what you still need from this twist, releasing anything that you don't. And then your next inhale, slowly make your way out. Coming back to a neutral seat. And then just gently twisting over towards the left-hand side, taking a gaze over your left hand shoulder just to undo this twist, just a counter twist. And then back to center. And then you'll want to extend your legs out long and remove any excess flesh from your seat. This is where a couple blocks or pillows will come in handy. I'm going to take a seated forward fold, but you'll want your forehead to come down onto something. So since we're likely not super open right now, your hamstrings might be really tight still. You might need to play around with your props a little bit. So if you've got a couple pillows, you can stack those up. If you have blocks, you can stack those up. Books even work for this. So you'll try to play around with heights. You might need to get into this a few different times just to make sure that your forehead can come down on something. But if you think you've got it, inhale, take your arms up, your gaze up. On your exhale, start to reach towards the front of your space, towards your toes. And once you feel your spine start to round, let your head and neck hang heavy and find your breath. And this is where you might need to make some adjustments right off the bat. If your props are not at the right height, you can stack them differently. And once we're about halfway through, you might find that you can actually lower your props or remove one of them just from the opening that we're going to start doing. So just find a comfortable shape. And then once you're there, close your eyes and try not to fidget. It's really allowing the low back to open, hamstrings to open. And forward folds are just so great for resetting our parasympathetic nervous system. So typically all day we're running around and stressed out or have a million things to do. And so this just serves as a reset to bring us back to that neutral state of calm, grounding, centeredness. So if you are especially tight, just breathe into that. And think of all the benefits of what you're doing for yourself by staying still. And often in restorative, it doesn't seem like you're doing a lot because you're not moving a ton, but staying still is harder than a lot of our vinyasa flow classes just because you have to hold stuff to get deeply into it. Your mind starts to race, and it's just a practice in general to bring yourself back to your mat, to be present, and then to also focus on your breath. So if you're used to moving around, running around everywhere, this might be so difficult for you. It's restorative practice has always been challenging for me. So, but it's something that I need more than anything else. So you might be in that same camp. And if so, just really try to leverage your breath. And we're halfway through, so if you have found that you've been able to get into this deeper and already are experiencing opening, you can remove a prop or adjust the height, and then just really help sink back down into this forward fold. And if you don't want to move at all, that's great too. Listen to your body, honor that. every exhale, can you sink just a little bit further in your forward fold? Pressing your forehead deeper onto your pillow, your block, your book, whatever you have. And again, just lengthening your inhales and your exhales to get you further, to allow for a little bit more opening. Two more rounds of breath here. Letting something go every breath out. Soaking up something good every breath in. And on your next inhale, as you are ready, start to really slowly crawl your way out of this, coming back to a neutral seat. You'll want to move your props off to the side and likely want to take your fingertips behind your seat with your fingers facing your bottom. And then you might just want to wiper your legs from side to side just to loosen up your low back since we held that for so long. And when you're ready, come to a tabletop position on your mat. And we're gonna get into sleeping swan or pigeon pose. So if you're wanting to do this on your back, I will show you that in just a moment. But if you want to take the full expression, we're gonna take it on our right-hand side. So bring your right knee in towards your right wrist and your right ankle in towards your left wrist, parallel to the top of your mat. And you'll extend your left leg long behind you. Take a peek over your right shoulder just to neutralize your hips down towards the ground. Inhale, take your gaze up. Exhale, start to crawl yourself forward to put your pigeon to sleep. This is where you might need a few props. So you might need something underneath your forehead just to bring it down closer to the mat. You might need something under your chest. You also might need some kind of prop underneath your right hip if you're really tight in your hip area. If you want to take this on your back, you'll just come down to your spine. You'll drape your right ankle over your left knee, and then you can just gently nudge your right knee away. You might want to take it a step further by bringing your left knee to a 90-degree angle, and then you can use your elbow to push your right knee away from you, grabbing onto your shin or behind your leg, just depending on how deep you want to get into it. But you decide what feels good. And pigeon often is really hard for a lot of us because we hold so much tension and stress in our hip area. And each side is going to feel very different. So right side typically is for most people the harder side. So just breathe into it, try to come to a comfortable position to where you're not fidgeting and also can really release your upper body to relax into this. And if you haven't already, you'll softly close your eyes. Just then wrap to your hip, and you might have a really tight IT band. And just trying to relax as much as possible as you open up. And this posture may be uncomfortable, but it should not be painful. So if you're experiencing any pain while in this pose, it's just a signal that you need to back off, and perhaps taking this on your back is a better option for you. So again, you find your shape. Are you using your breath, or have you already forgotten about your breathing? And perhaps once you start to tune into that, you realize that you are shallow breathing again in your chest area instead of your belly. So try to just slowly lengthen your inhales and your exhales. And perhaps this is a good opportunity to count your inhales, pausing for breath, and then counting your exhales and pausing at the empty. And just seeing if they're even. And if they are, if you can even add a count or two to your breathing, just to really help start to slow it down. It will help ground you, relax you, get you thinking about something else besides pigeon pose. And we're already halfway done with this side. Just breathe into that, knowing that we aren't going to be here forever. And I can always tell what kind of week I've been having by how painful my pigeon is and how tight my hips are. So this is a signal to me that I need more self-care, more time to de-stress, and just really allow myself some time to unwind from my week. Two more big rounds of breath here. Letting something go. Knowing that we're almost out. That might bring a big smile to your face. There is another side, so don't forget that. And slowly, when you're ready, start to make your way out. And really take your time, because we held the pigeon for about 5 minutes, which is a lot longer than we do in our vinyasa class. So just take some time to open up. You might want to extend your right leg back, tuck your toes, and really push back into your leg. Or perhaps you want to take some hip circles just to bring some movement and blood flow back to that side. We were compressing it a lot in pigeon, so just taking a few moments to get where you need to go. And then when you're ready, we're gonna just swap it out to that other side. So if you're on your back, you'll just switch out the leg. If you are in traditional pigeon or sleeping swan, you'll just bring your left knee up towards your left wrist, and then your left ankle towards your right wrist. Pointing your toes on your left leg. Extend your right leg long behind you. Take a peek over your left shoulder just to, again, reset your hips towards the mat. This is an opportunity to grab onto some props if you need. You might want a block or a blanket underneath your left hip. Inhale, take your gaze up. Exhale, start to fold forward. Put your pigeon or sleeping swan to sleep on this side. And again, each side's different. For me, my left is actually my problem side, and so it takes me a bit to find a shape that I'm not squinting my entire face up while getting into it. So just really take your time to ease in. You need additional props, or need to take this side on your back, you can certainly do that. Again, this is your class and your body, so you decide what you need. We tend to just store and suppress a lot of stress and tension and worries and all that fun stuff in our hip area. And so in poses like this, we give our bodies an opportunity to release that. And because we're holding it for as long as we are, the connective tissue really can start to open up and allow for that sense of release. And so for some people, this can be an emotional release. Sometimes something that you've been holding on to, it just helps you get rid of that, leave it behind. So if you're starting to feel a certain way in this pose, just embrace that, allow that to happen. It's your body just finally releasing whatever that is. And just really imagine as you're laying here that things are, all that tension is actually leaving your body, that when you log off this evening and wind down for the rest of your night, go to bed, that you're a little bit lighter because you're not having to carry the weight of all that around with you anymore. We're halfway through already on the side. Just seeing where you can send breath to any really tense areas in your body. Really pay attention to your breath. If you've already started to let your mind wander to a million things, just bring it back. Pay attention to your breathing and how you're feeling in your body right now. Knowing that we're almost done with pigeon pose. Taking a few breaths in of things that you still need and releasing the stuff on your exhales that you don't. Taking that opportunity to just leave it behind. And when you roll up your mat after you're done tonight, you can just leave it there. Slowly on your next inhale, start to make your way out on this side, being mindful. Take any movements that feel good to you. Again, you might want to extend your left leg long behind you, tucking your toes, or just taking some hip circles in one direction and then the other. And when you're ready, ground both of your palms into your mat in this tabletop position. Ground your left palm in. Inhale, bring your right palm up. Take your gaze up towards your right palm. Exhale, flip your palm up start to thread it through the left-hand side for thread the needle. So you'll bring your shoulder, your right shoulder down to the mat, and also the right side of your face. And immediately your left hip likely is higher than your right. So just see if you can just slowly shift the weight in your hips so that they're even. And then your your left palm is either by your face, or if you really want to get into your shoulder a little bit more, if you need some more shoulder opening, you can start to extend your left arm long to the top of your mat. And just really tune into how you're feeling on this side. We spend so much time on our phones, driving, on our computers, and we're hunched over in all of those postures. So this really does help open up the shoulder area, get you to undo some of that. And you'll just want to find a shape that works for you. So if you're really, really tight in your upper body, you might need to come off of that a little bit. You can also come down to more of a child's pose, leg shape. If being on your knees is too much for you, you can find different variations that work for you. But once you're there, you'll close your eyes, really taking a few moments to get deep into this. We're halfway through this side, so try not to fidget. Try to stay still this last half of this posture. Really helps open up the heart space. Because of all the hunched over poses that we do throughout the day, we tend to really close off. And so these postures really help open you back up, and you open yourself up to new possibilities, to just new ways of thinking, new perspectives. And your whole body posture really just is either inviting to that or not. And the more that you can undo some of the hunched over postures that we do all day, the more that you can open yourself up to other good stuff. Slowly on your next inhale, if you extended your left palm towards the top of your mat, just bring that in towards your face. Ground down into your left palm. Inhale, bring your right palm up to the sky. And you might just want to take some gentle arm circles in one direction, and then the other just to bring some blood flow back to that side. And then we're just going to swap that out. So ground down into your right palm. Inhale, lift your left palm up to the sky, take your gaze up, and then just thread it through on this side, coming down onto your left shoulder and the left side of your face. And again, pay attention to your hips. Your right hip likely is higher than your left hip, so just see if you can anchor them back so that they're square towards the mat. Closing your eyes when you're in a good shape. And just depending on what hand you tend to use more, what arm you use more, will depend on what side's a little bit more tense. So breathe into that and tune into what you need. You might need to make some adjustments to get you there. We're halfway through this side. Try to stay still. Bringing your attention back to your breath. Perhaps you come back to your intention that we set at the beginning of class, or your reason for spending some much needed self-care time for yourself. And every exhale, just imagine that you're opening up, and each exhale just sinking more into the mat to allow for that opening. Final rounds of breath here. And your next inhale, if you extended your right palm towards the top of the mat, just bring that in towards your face, ground down, your right fingertips. Inhale, lift your left arm back up to the sky. And then just take some arm circles in one direction and then the other, just to let that go. And when you're ready, we're gonna make our way down to our back. So come all the way down to your spine. And tee out your arms. Bring your knees in towards your chest. And on your exhale, start to bring your knees over towards the left-hand side. And the goal is to keep both of your shoulder blades grounded on the mat. So if you need to put a prop underneath your knees or in between your knees, just to allow that to happen and to also neutralize your low back, you can do that. And once you have found a good shape, you'll start to take your gaze over towards your right fingertips. And then slowly, softly close your eyes. And we won't be in this shape for super long, just because we've done a lot of twisting. This will just help ground us before our final resting shape. You should feel a lot more open, so your low back hopefully is not as intense as it was in deer pose. have been struggling to pay attention to your breath, you can always bring your left palm onto your belly just to start to pay attention to your breathing. Seeing if you can just ever so slightly start to slow it down, which really helps us just get into a really neutral, relaxed state. Slowly on your next inhale, bring your knees back towards center. Then you just might want to sway your knees gently from side to side just to neutralize your spine. And when you're ready, tee your arms back out and bring your knees over towards the right hand side. Again, being mindful of your shoulder blades, making sure that they're both on the mat. Again, props are really great underneath or between your knees just to allow that to happen. And then you'll just take your gaze over towards your left fingertips and softly close your eyes once you're there. Again, bringing your right palm to your belly might be a really great option to help slow you down. Tuning into your breath, just being mindful that you're here on your mat, that nothing to do, to think about, to worry about, but to be here. On your next inhale, bring your knees back in towards center. Grab onto the outer edges of your feet, bringing your knees in towards your armpits for happy baby. And perhaps you want to sway from side to side very gently just to help reset your spine. And when you're ready on your time, you'll start to slowly make your way to your final resting shape, your Shavasana. So if you have access to a wall, my favorite Shavasana pose is legs up the wall. So you'll just bring your glutes towards the wall and then extend your legs up the wall just to help really reset everything and give yourself a little bit of a break. If you don't have a wall or you just aren't feeling that variation tonight, just come to a neutral position with your body. So you'll extend your legs out to a V shape. And then for your hands, you can either bring them to your belly to use this time to really tune into your breath and help yourself calm and slow down your breathing, or face your palms down on the sides of your mat in a slightly widened V shape just to get some more grounding and centeredness for a few moments of stillness. So once you've decided what shape you're going to take a few minutes of rest in. Just see if you can soften any muscles in your face. Perhaps you're furrowing your brow still or your jaw is tense. And you just release the muscles there. Perhaps you remove your tongue from the roof of your mouth. Allow your shoulders to just roll down your back. Seeing where you can just soften if there's any other areas of tightness or tense in your body. And just enjoy these few minutes of calming rest. Shavasana is here for you as long as you have the time. So if you do want to rest longer, you're in your own space. Please feel free to tune out the sound of my voice or even just close Zoom so that you can rest further. But if you're ready to reawaken enough just to get on with the rest of your evening before you crawl into bed, start to slowly bring some awareness back to your body. Perhaps you wiggle your fingers and your toes. Gently roll out your ankles and your wrists. And then on your next exhale, just slowly start to make your way to either side for a brief stop in fetal pose. Keeping your eyes closed, taking a few moments to just thank yourself for spending this time on your mat, in your practice, on yourself. Slowly on your next inhale, make your way to a neutral seated position. Bring your hands to heart center and just softly close your eyes. Thank you guys so much for joining me on your mats this evening. Take a deep breath in and a deep open mouth sigh out. Let something go. Breathe in something awesome, something that you still need for your week ahead. Breathe out something that you don't. Thank you guys so much. I hope you all sleep so well and have a great rest of your week. Namaste.